BrenTech here, where tech is made simple. So last week, Microsoft rolled out PowerToys version 0.64, as I did post on. And with that release, they included the new file Locksmith tool, the new host file editor tool, and also the new backup and restore your settings that's now available in PowerToys. And I'll leave a link in the description to that video if that would be of interest. Now, just a quick video to let you know that if you are using PowerToys on Windows 10 and 11, that Microsoft has, over the last couple of hours, rolled out the first patch release for 0.64, which now takes the version to 0.64.1. Now, Microsoft says that this is a patch release to fix issues in version 64, to fix some bugs that they deemed important enough for stability reasons based on user feedback. And the change log for this update is not very long. So I'm just going to go through a couple of the key highlights just to keep you in the loop, so to speak, if you are using the PowerToys app and you would be interested. Now, this is a bug fix and improvement update, and the first two improvements and fixes have been made available for FancyZones, and both of them are for the editor in FancyZones. The first is you can actually apply the space around zones toggle deactivation in FancyZones editor now. And they also fixed an issue causing FancyZones editor and other modern WPF applications to render as a white window on VMware Windows 11 guests. So that's two fixes for the FancyZones editor. Now, the next two improvements are for the host file editor, which was a new feature that rolled out last week, as I did post on. And you can now add a scroll bar to the additional lines dialog in the host file editor. And they also fixed icons that weren't displaying properly in host file editor. And then the next two improvements and fixes have been made available for the file Locksmith. So both new tools that rolled out last week have received a couple of improvements. And you can now allow file Locksmith to recognize processes from the system user when elevated. And then, just like the host file editor, they fixed some icons that weren't displaying properly. And there were other user interface fixes for the new file Locksmith tool and utility. And then the last key highlight just to mention for this video is if we head to the color picker, which is a quick and simple system-wide color picker, you can now avoid an infinite loop when updating settings in color picker. So if you are using the color picker and you're fiddling around in the settings and updating those settings, you can avoid an infinite loop that was causing those settings to loop in the color picker, and that's been addressed now. So that's more or less the key highlights that have rolled out in version 0.64.1, and you can just check for updates if you are using the PowerToys app on Windows 10 and 11, and that will apply the update automatically. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.